From crazy fad diets to trendy ingredients, it seems our health habits are constantly making headlines. Here to give it to us straight, the one and only registered dietitian, our dear friend, Carolyn O'Neil. Let's give Carolyn an applause.
Here we are.
Yay. We love Carolyn. Kara and I want your life.
Oh,
She's a food blogger and food editor, and she just travels the world. I don't know why I'm talking like this.
But you know what I do is I read the news, and I'm constantly excited when I see the headlines of nutrition news. You know, and here's what's happening. You know, we talk about fake news today. Well, there's fake nutrition news too. And then there's all this conflicting stuff. No wonder people are upset. It's like, first of all, coffee's bad for you. Oh, it's good for you.
Right.
Wait, butter is bad. Butter is bad. No, butter's bad again. It's like, no wonder everybody's so confused. So I thought it would be a lot of fun to kind of go through some fake and some fab headlines.
Awesome.
And here's another thing. What's different today is people will, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, they will go on the internet and it'll be like paging Dr. Google. Paging Dr. Google.
I do it.
And a lot of times you're not going to come up with the best information because, you know, the internet gives us access to everything, but it gives everything access to us.
Right.
All right, here's one of my favorite headlines recently, ice cream for breakfast. And the headline was, if you eat ice cream for breakfast, it makes you smarter. Isn't that exciting? It got shared all over the place. And actually some legitimate writers and headlines picked this up. And here's the story behind the story. Okay, it was a study done in Japan. And one group got the ice cream for breakfast. The other group got nothing for breakfast, and another group got water. So no wonder the ice cream people were happier and smarter, okay?
Exactly.
And it was never published.
That's a
never published in any kind of a journal.
Well, I was just going to ask you, what is the source here? Never published.
Well, it was actually done by a confection company in Japan. But good to know that ice cream can make you smarter for breakfast if you're not eating anything else. Okay. Which goes to show you, you know, if you're going to ask information on the internet to someplace that's selling things, maybe it's a supplement, it's kind of like asking your barber if you need a haircut.
Right, exactly.
So anyway, here's another, we've always had sort of fake nutrition news. This is one of my favorites, this is Dolly Parton. This is from the National Enquirer. My favorite that I saved, I don't know, must be about 10 or 15, 20 years old, the fried chicken diet. 40 pounds just melt away. Dolly's all new fried chicken diet. Again, you have to look into the nitty-gritty, and I will tell you later exactly that this might actually be true. So stay tuned. Here we go. All right, now this is true. There is a downside to gluten. Now we know that there are so many people, of course, suffering from celiac disease. They have to avoid gluten, which is a protein found in certain grains, certainly wheat. It's also in barley. It's in rye. Not that many people eat rye. But the downside is that many people who are on this gluten-free diet tend to think they're going to lose weight. Then they go, I'm so excited about the gluten-free chocolate chip cookies I just found. So again, some of these gluten-free products are going to be higher in sugar. Now here's a couple of good things, examples to show you. This, I really like these. Mary's Gone Crackers. These are gluten-free, but they're great for everybody.
Mary's Gone Crackers.
She's Gone Crackers. And the good thing about so many people asking for gluten-free, companies have been able to invest money to come up with great products. And then good companies like General Mills. It says gluten-free on their oats Cheerios, because a lot of people, oats was on the bad list for a while. But now they can guarantee oats have never had gluten, but often they were processed in a facility that also did the other grains like wheat. Okay. Let's go to the next headline.
I love Cheerios, so that's
Cheese is better than butter. Now, believe it or not, this is actually true. The most recent research on saturated fats, and those are the fats that clog our arteries, shows that cheese also comes in a package with protein, as you know, calcium, and it turns out the whole family of nutrients in cheese actually helps our bodies better metabolize, if you will, the saturated fats, and so it doesn't have as big of an impact on our blood cholesterol as, let's say, a ribeye steak or let's say just butter. So that's good to know. And again, we don't mean a huge pile of cheese.
No, I get these for the kids for their lunch and for me as well when I'm on the go.
And I like, you know, the real creamy cheeses are going to have more fat in them, and so the Swiss cheese is hard in the Colby. All right, olive oil really is a superfood. This is true. So many studies show not only good for our heart, but good for our brains, anti-inflammatory. Now with the cholesterol thing, now you can't just pour olive oil all over a giant steak and expect not to have the consequences of those saturated fats in the steak. It is, if you substitute olive oil instead of those other fats, your cholesterol will go down. And also if you notice this, extra virgin olive oil from Peach Dish is in a dark container. You want to choose a dark container because if it's light and the light gets in there, it can go rancid. So again, it also protects the nutrition in there too, the polyphenols.
Now, so does it matter if it's extra virgin?
Well, you know, the extra virgin meat, often cold pressed, mean that maybe some of those little polyphenols or the plant nutrients in there, they can still stay alive and happy.
Okay.
But the olive oil that is just regular old olive oil that you're going to be cooking with is got those monounsaturates that are the ones we want for heart health.
Good. I love
Okay, we're moving on.
Okay.
The breaking news, plant-based diets really are #1, and that's why we have all this right here. Study after study, certainly the dietary guidelines show the more fruits and vegetables you can put on your plate, the beans, the legumes, the healthier you be. And that takes us to the next news, which is mindful eating. And that is why next to you, Christine, I found these plates. They're called slimware, and if you look at it, it shows you how to portion.
Oh, that's
like
brilliant.
The big one is your vegetables, the sort of medium one, it might be your carbs, your whole grains, and then the small for the protein. Now, you don't have to go this far and get a whole set of china to eat mindfully, but it is a lovely little reminder about how your portion should be. And also next to you, a little teeny tiny martini glass.
Yes.
Again, we want to be mindful, not just in our eating, but in our drinking.
Absolutely. We think about that all the time because I might be eating right, but I might be drinking my calories on a weekend if you're not careful. So be mindful.
So, you know, one of the things too, people say, well, how can I tell if it's good news or if it's, you know, fake news? And I think you want to make sure it comes from a legitimate journal, like a Journal of the American Medical Association, you know, the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, where it's peer reviewed. Because did you know that there are actually journals that you can pay to put your research in?
I would imagine
those are really under fire.
Yes.
My favorite study recently, just to kind of bring this home, was study shows you can't trust all studies.
Thank you. Thank you for making us aware of that. That is hysterical. You're like, really? I had no idea. Carolyn, thank you. Such great tips and advice. And as she was referencing fried chicken, the studio smells delicious because Molly is actually up in just a few minutes with a wonderful way to cook chicken that's going to be good and healthy. But in the meantime, if you want to follow Carolyn, please follow her on all social media. It's CarolynO'Neil.com. She has great tips and advice. She's traveling, just being a foodie all over the world. Incredible. All right,